I recently got a 2006 Toyota Sienna and heard that there was a problem with rodents getting in the air intake. And we have a lot of rodents on our property. So I researched how to take care of this problem. You can see there's hardware cloth held on to those openings under here. This is where the air comes in and goes into the fresh air intake behind the glove box and goes through the air filter and stuff. So the mice can definitely get in those holes. How you access these holes, you can kind of prop this up like I just did, but there's another hole that you need to cover way back here. So you have to take the windshield wiper arms off, and I already have. But basically there's a piece that's held on like that, just pops off with your fingernail, and then you need a ratchet to get this nut off. And then the wiper just kind of, wiper arm pops off like that. And that's it. And then this whole thing, I already took it off, so it's very loose right now, but when you take it off, there's these little clips under here that you have to kind of mess with a little bit, but it does pop off rather easily, and the whole thing comes off, and then you can access this whole area under here a lot more easily, rather than trying to prop it up and reach in. And like I said, there's this other part that needs to be covered under there as well, which you can't access with just propping it. So I did have help with this, but basically you just get some hardware cloth. I liked this size because it was easy to work with, and I think these are called tin snips. But we just measured how big approximately to cut the pieces of hardware cloth. There's one whole piece there, and then there's another small piece at the other hole. You definitely want to make sure to leave enough room to attach the piece. I think doing this again, we would have left a little bit more room. You can use caulking, I read, to hold that on, but we decided to use self-tapping screws for a more permanent, fail-proof method. We used an impact driver and an extension arm option. Sometimes the extension arm was taken off, just depending on how you can get in there. But you can use a drill as well, and you could use regular screws. You would just drill with your drill bit into the metal and then put the screw in with the drill. It is a little bit tricky because a lot of these spots are not flat, so the tip wants to kind of skitter around a little bit. So it's a little bit tricky, but it's totally doable. And I feel really great knowing that mice are not going to get into my fresh air intake. I'm super stoked. These are the self-tapping screws. It's kind of blurry, but they have a little tip on them that kind of drills itself in. Yeah, I think that's about it. Oh, and I wanted to also say that there's this crevice right in here. I don't know where it goes, but I'm gonna stuff some steel wool in there to prevent mice from getting in that hole in case it leads into the area that I'm trying to keep them out of. So there you have it. That is how to seal up those giant gaping air intake holes to prevent rodents from effing up your vehicle.